So instead of retiring and spending time with her family, Nancy Pelosi just announced that she will be seeking re-election at 83 years old. American politics seems to be the only industry where people choose to work until they're 100 years old. Normally, if you're in your 80s and 90s and wealthy, you want to retire. Now, Nancy Pelosi says she's running because she has a lot of work left to do. And when she said work, I thought she meant neck lift, facelift, under eyes, eyebrows, but apparently she means work in the US Capitol. What's funny about Nancy Pelosi running for re-election is she says she's doing it because our democracy is at stake and so much is on the chopping block, but if we're being honest, it's really about power and money. Also, Nancy Pelosi's husband, Paul, is a mess with his DUIs, his late night visitors. She's probably running back to work. She does not want to retire at 83 years old and sit at home with him. Nancy Pelosi was so disgusted with Donald Trump's mugshot. Her husband has a mugshot. Does she not see the irony? Something else that's a little bit ridiculous about Nancy Pelosi is that recently she defended Dianne Feinstein, who's 90 years old, doesn't know where she is, and whose daughter has power of attorney. Nancy Pelosi basically said that Dianne Feinstein was being judged more harshly because she's a woman. No, she's being judged because she doesn't know the temperature of the room. Now, the past week, there have also been a ton of news stories about how Joe Biden has a really low approval rating and probably won't win in a general election. My guess is that the powers that be, the folks who pull the puppet strings, the political elite, they called Nancy Pelosi and said, you have to stay there, you have to get to work because they're trying to thwart Donald Trump, which is what the news stories are saying too. Now, I know I've got folks on the left, the right, the middle, none of the above who follow me, and I welcome everyone from across the political spectrum, but we all have to admit that Nancy Pelosi seeking re-election at 83 years old, it is not just because she wants to and she's some virtuous person, it's because they think Donald Trump or someone on the right has a chance of winning. Alright, thank you guys for liking and following. Drop a comment and tell me how you feel. If you've been with me for a while, you know I've talked about term limits and cognitive testing a bunch. I do think Nancy Pelosi would pass a cognitive test, but I do think it's weird to go back to work at 83 years old.